Thank you so much for tuning in to Chica, Poderosa podcast. I have a very special guest with me today. Her name is Diana Pareja. She is known on Instagram as @DulceDiana. And if you follow me, you'll be very familiar with who she is. She's the famous person that, kicks my butt every day and keeps me in shape. So she's the reason that, when I flex La Chica Poderosa, you see a little bit of, arm action going on. So I had to bring her on because she has been such an inspiration in my life in so many different ways, whether it's eating healthy, calling me out, and making sure that no matter how busy I am, I still make it to the gym. And believe me, she can be very tough on me. And she's also become one of my best friends. So I had to bring Diana here to our podcast today. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So for those who are wondering, what got you into fitness? Why are you so fitness obsessed?
It's like the first question that I always get,
Yes.
right? So for me, it just kind of started very young. It was a passion of mine that developed probably at a very young age. I was a really, really shy little girl growing up, like most women, a lot of insecurities. My family would always try to get me to open up, and their way of doing that was throwing me into a beauty pageant when I was like 13 years old.
Surprise, surprise, she's so beautiful.
Yes. But no, so obviously that was brand new to me. My family was just like, oh, it's something fun that you can do, socialize, meet other girls. And it really did. Obviously, it opened my eyes to the beauty industry, being on stage, as a woman. You're like, oh, they have this perception of you. You have to look good, beauty, elegance, all that good stuff. But I mean, at a young age, it kind of opened my eyes to health as well. I guess just being, looking good, all of that. So that's what it started as. I did a couple more pageants. I also got my first trainer at the age of 18, 19, because I was, learning a few things. And like most women, they just start off by trying to do whatever they can at the gym, not really knowing what to do. And I wanted to be confident. I wouldn't know what I was doing in the gym. So I got my first trainer, and it's been a growing passion ever since, I guess. So as my body started changing, as I started learning, gaining more experience, I would work out with friends, gain experience from other trainers, and then I would have people just asking me, hey, you look so good, why don't you train me? And I was like, train you? I'm not a trainer. I don't know what to do. So after I kept hearing all these things, I went ahead, and I didn't even have a certification at that time. So I basically talked to the right people, got my personal training certification. I still had a full-time job at the time, doing all that good stuff. And then, that's how I kind of got started and got my first client.
That's awesome. So I love hearing stories like that, where you did it kind of for reasons that were outside of this is going to be my profession. So you, like you just said, you had a part-time job or a full-time job, and then you turned into a fitness trainer. So what was that moment or that time in your life where you're like, I think this could be, something that I'm going to just invest in and take the risk to, just like myself, I talk about very often, where you leave that high paying job to chase your dreams. So what was that moment for you?
So I love talking about this because I had a corporate job. I had an 8 to 5, which I absolutely dreaded, right? It was your usual corporate desk job. I realized after leaving that job that I was developing anxiety. I didn't even know it, having all these symptoms. I was at that job and training clients part-time after work. On top of that, after training a couple clients in the evening, making sure that I made it out to the gym, because I wanted, I had to make sure I had to keep myself accountable too. So honestly, I believe in God. So I was praying, kind of just asking like, hey, please, let's figure out a way. Like, how can I do this full time? Or jokingly, like, please help me get out of this job. Help me get a new job. I hate it here. And I was just scared. I had to pay the bills. I had a car note. I had all these things. Going from security to not knowing whether or not you can make a living if I were to be a full-time trainer and start my own business. I didn't trust myself, but that moment happened when I got fired from that said job.
Wow.
That's a
great turning turning point.
Which happened to be a blessing in disguise because I was like, you know what? This is my chance. If it doesn't work, I can always do something else. And my mom she's always been my number one supporter.
She's amazing. I've met her. Yes, I love her.
So she was just like, Mommy, you know what? Go ahead, go for it. Like, if this is what you love. So she kind of encouraged me, and thankfully, it's been a blessing ever since, and I've grown a lot.
That is an incredible story, and I feel as entrepreneurs, the more and more I interview them, there's either that moment where, you got laid off, or a big turning point in their life where, you know what, I have to either choose this or that, a fork in the road. Or for me, my story was very different, which I think is the other side where, you know what, we have something good, we're investing in it, we see something, but we're not ourselves. We're working for somebody else. And I'm a strong believer in you need to be a part of a brand and you can grow and you can flourish, but there are some people where they have a message to send. They want to be a part of creating something. It's the artist. And so hearing your story of how you were met with fate and you're like, I either go here or here, and you actually, which is a very brave decision because you're very young, and I know you've been doing this for a while, so you were super young.
4 years now, yeah.
Yes.
So I was probably 25.
Yeah, and that's incredibly young. And like you said, you have bills and you just went all for it. And I do commend you because I found you in a very organic way. Like, I didn't just meet her through a networking event or anything. I met her through reputation. I met her through social media, just finding somebody. Because for me, as a mom of two, and I was working out, I had a lifetime membership. I would do the typical boot camps, the weightlifting, and I thought I was doing a great job. But then throw me with the weights, like just doing a regular workout, I would not know what to do. And then COVID happened and I was like, I need to work out because for me, my mental health is everything. And the reason why I work out is not only for my mental health, but also too, I want to look good and feel good and feel strong. I am Lachica, Poderosa. And so again, I found Diana through her Instagram, her social media platform. And that's why you'll hear me echo in so many different podcast episodes of how powerful social media is, how important it is. And just like how Diana has generated many clients through social media, it's something that I continue to encourage people who are listening to this podcast to not sleep on it because you find legitimate clients that way. And that's how I found you. I would say we're about almost 2.5 years in.
Yeah, going on 3.
Yes, and you have made me stronger than ever. And I will tell you, as a busy businesswoman, sometimes I don't think I so to speak, come up with excuses but she really focuses on, I need to see you 2 to 3 times a week at a minimum. And she'll move things around and she'll just say, we have to make time. And at first I thought, oh man, I don't know, it's stressful, but as I grow deeper in my success and I realize how much stress that causes and running a business, I really rely on Diana to hold me accountable and to be that extra voice to say, it's okay to make me time. It's okay to go to the gym and spend that hour or two to just, let it all out, whether it's, frustrations or hey, I'm strong. I still have this. And as a mom, it's something that I really cherish and admire about you, that she doesn't accept no for an answer. I can come up with a funny excuse or like, maybe not. And she'll be like, well, what about this time and this? Like, you
gotta make it work,
yeah,
girl.
So we're like super close now. So she knows. She's like, oh, well, I can see you on a Saturday morning. How about that? I'm like, okay, I'll see you on Tuesday at 9. I'll be there. So I really love working with Diana and learning from her. She has taught me a lot of amazing things too. Whether I'm eating something wrong, she'll be the first to call me out on it. And so I will say she is an extremely important part of La Chica Poderosa team. So enough about me and my story with you. I wanted to kind of talk about how important you are to my life and to keeping me as strong and healthy and focused. What is your typical client? What do they look like?
A lot of them look just like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I do train a lot of very successful businessmen, businesswomen. Again, like you said, one of the things that I think I cherish the most as a trainer is what you kind of touched up on is finding that me time, right? Because I love building that one-on-one relationship with my clients. They all are either parents, they have super busy schedules. A lot of them, like you started, kind of didn't know where to start. That's why you hire a trainer, which is the best thing to do.
I agree. Yes.
So keeping them accountable, obviously building that relationship, it's their time, right? No matter how stressed they are at work, no matter what they have going on in life, fitness and taking care of your health, just you in general is just so important.
It is.
Most importantly for your mental health, people don't realize that, but it is probably one of the biggest help you can do for yourself if you're dealing with anything in life. It's gonna just alleviate so many things. And people think, oh no, I'm stressed. Oh, I'm gonna be sore. Oh, but it's not about that.
No.
Like your body, it releases so many chemicals, so many endorphins after a good workout, especially if you're doing consistently. It's a whole lifestyle change, and people take it for granted until there comes a time in their life where I'm like, wow, I don't have my health. I can't do anything else.
Right, exactly.
If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. No matter how much money, no matter how much anything you have, health is number one.
Health is wealth.
That's my life.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts as well of very successful individuals, and you will not go past one person who runs multi-businesses, Fortune 500 businesses, and the number one thing we all have in common is we work out. We make that effort for ourselves because it's a ripple effect. So, I mean, I could talk on and on about how much and why I prioritize my workouts and why it's so important. It's not to be, having that perfect body. I mean,
it's a plus.
Yes, it is.
It
is an added
with
benefit.
Time and it's earned.
It is, yes. But really the mental health benefits is what keeps me coming, keeps me coming back. And you calling me out and saying, hey, I haven't seen you this week, or I'm only seeing you once, it holds me accountable, and the consistency is great, and I love it. So say if somebody wants to get started with you, what's the process like?
So most people either find me, like you said, organically. I love that I've been able to kind of grow my brand on Instagram, and I still feel like a little baby business trying to climb up there. But regardless, most people reach out to me via DM, direct message. I have a link where they'll fill out a coaching application. They'll give me some information about themselves, and then we set up a phone consultation. Go from there, set up an introductory session, and I just meet them in person and see if we're a good fit.
Awesome. And so what kind of training programs do you offer?
So lifestyle clients in general is what I mainly focus on. That means weight loss, weight gain, so building muscle, all body types, recomposition, whether you just want to, lean out a little bit, build some muscle.
Awesome. And I will say, I have realized that, like I said, I had a lifetime membership thinking I was cool, doing all these classes, and it's an expensive gym. I thought I was in the right hands, and I show her video clips of me doing old workouts totally wrong, and nobody corrected me. And I think
letting go of the barbell.
Yeah, just throwing it up in the air and grabbing it, thinking I'm cool. But, as a personal injury attorney, I realize how sensitive our backs are in our neck, and just learning the proper form, learning how much to carry. All of that, you get that with a trainer who is educated and knowledgeable on, okay, you have to warm up before a workout. You have to stretch. You have to, know what you're doing in the gym to prevent injuries. And I really like that you make sure that, all of your clients are safe and we're not overexerting ourselves or trying to just look cool for the gram.
No.
So we talk a lot about the time in the gym, but I know your favorite thing to talk about is food and nutrition. So what would you...
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yes. I have some funny stories to tell, but maybe we'll say that for another day. As far as you calling us out on what we're eating, what would you say are your, top 3 favorite healthy snacks?
That's a good question. I kind of stick with the basics. So whether it's like a protein bar or something high protein with as little ingredients as possible, not a whole long list of ingredients that are chemically made, probably trail mix or some fruit, yogurt. Really easy things that you can take on the go with you.
Okay. Another I could see this being a good TikTok. What would you say are the 3 hidden ingredients or hidden things that we think are healthy that are really not?
Ooh.
Where you call your clients out the most thinking, oh, I'm having the healthiest, protein bar. And you're like, no, absolutely not. Because I know I've been called out a few times.
Okay, so I think the main things are like hidden oils that people don't know about, like canola oil, all these other different oils that really are not good for the body or acidic, or I can get to the science behind it, but it's gonna bore people. What else? Added sugars obviously is for sure number one, especially refined sugars like white sugar. So there's a difference between cane sugar and then just sugar on a label, on a nutrition label, but for sure. And then I think the main thing, not hidden, but when it comes to, and most people don't know this, but when you're reading a nutrition label, the first ingredient on that nutrition label is what that food is made up most of. So again, for example, if sugar is the first ingredient and you're picking up some dried fruit at the grocery store, it's like, it's not even really dried fruit. Put that back.
Right. So what are your favorite places to find healthy foods?
Well, grocery stores, for example.
Yes.
I mean, H-E-B, even H-E-B, right? Because most people, I'll be like, oh, okay, Whole Foods, Sprouts. That gets a little more expensive. They do have the best brands, especially when it comes to snacks and things like that, especially for kids, all that stuff. They have the cleanest snacks. Yeah, H-E-B.
So what is your favorite type of client to train? Is it someone who is already fit, who wants to get buffer, or some... like, for instance, a new mom that wants to lose that baby weight? What would you say is your favorite, your passion?
I don't have a favorite type of client, but the clients that I love the most it's just the ones that I know I have helped impact them in a really, really big way. So they start off as someone who knows nothing about the gym, or for example, a girl who has I love working with women, especially I train men too, but I love working with women for this reason, because imagine a girl who has very low self-confidence, doesn't like to work out on her own, or much less in public, at the gym, any of that. And then within months, I see a whole 360 and they're a whole different person. They're going to the gym by themselves. I can tell during our interaction, during our sessions, that they're just, there's like something different about them, and they're feeling themselves, they're feeling more confident, and I can sense that energy, and I love it. Like, I see that change so often, and that's what keeps me loving what I do.
Awesome. So this is a fun question, I think. What if you're on vacation somewhere and there's not a gym? What would be your go-to workout?
Please. I don't need a gym to go work out. I can rep out some squats, some push-ups, I'll do some handstands, whatever. I love body weight workouts, calisthenics. I was really into that when I was, I guess a few years ago, I started picking it up to where I would just do like crazy cool acro, like yoga stuff, and on the bars and just flipping around. I just like to see whatever a body can do. Interesting. You don't need weights.
And if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see she is extremely flexible. She does tons of cardio workouts and strength, and she'll constantly post different workouts. And if you're like me and you tried them, you'll be regretting it for a few days, but it just shows like you just know kind of how to target the entire body, which I think is excellent, especially for people like me or fellow business individuals who they don't have much time to waste. So we have to be pretty effective with the time that we have. So what do you think about, okay, this is a good question. I don't want to give myself credit, but I know through talking with you, you're very anti-using filter. What do you think the filter generation has done to us women or us individuals who see it on social media?
When you were mentioning the organic way that you found me, that's something that I stay away from, and then I kind of don't, because I think people can just tell, right? When you look at someone's page, if they're a little authentic more than other people. So regardless, whether you use filters, whether you don't, I just think social media is giving a false example of beauty, especially to young girls. I mean, you have a little girl, and she's growing up in this crazy world. But what's important is setting that example as a woman, making them knowledgeable about this, and just hey, that's there, but it's kind of like you don't need it, or
and I think
it's all about confidence, right? Because
And it is, but it's hard whenever you see on social media, you see these women or men post these false pictures of themselves where it's
photoshopped.
photoshopped, you know, their waist is trimmed, and that's something I really try to stay away from, at least within the last year. Like, what you see is what you get with me. And especially as like you said, a mother to a daughter, I want to make sure that my daughter knows whether I'm 10 pounds overweight, 10 pounds underweight, I still am confident in who I am. And one thing that Diana has taught me, which a lot of us, we measure our health success journey on the scale. But the scale is really not indicative of what we really are or the progress that we're making. And that's one thing you taught me, is to kind of stay off the scale. And what I kind of used to judge my progress is
based on the scale.
Yes.
Whether it went up 2 pounds,
right,
down
exactly.
3 pounds,
and you've always been
then,
like, be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself, because you're putting in the effort. And just take it a day at a time. Because Diana knows I'm very technical. I'm data driven. It's a lawyer in me. And so, you know, I'll be like, why isn't the scale changed? But she has taught me a different way to kind of evaluate my progress, whether it's like
progress pictures,
progress
body
pictures.
fat percentage.
Yes.
Those are better ways to track progress. But yeah, the scale, no. Our weight fluctuates. Muscle weighs more than fat. You can start building muscle, look completely different at the weight you're at now than at and the way you look a year from now, 2 years from now.
It's totally different. Yeah, and I think that's what separates you. It's not like you're not so data driven. It's more of mental health. Are you good? Physical health, yes. Like, you know, just you're lifting heavier, your cardio game is stronger, and you're eating healthier. So it all just kind of falls into place.
It's a lifestyle change, because quick fixes never work, right?
No, definitely not.
Yeah,
definitely
no. And there are trainers out there that'll probably be like, hey, we're going to lose 20 pounds in a month, but those 20 pounds are going to come right back.
Yeah.
After you finish training.
And that's definitely not you. You're very quick to call out, you know, any gimmicks or, hey, you know, let me take this weight loss pill or whatever. You want organic results. And I think that's why I love working with you and wanted to bring you on, because in this movement of woman empowerment and just being the best version of ourselves, I think you embody that. You embody that mentality. In the world of filters and TikTok and the Kardashian world, we all want to be perfect, but we want to be perfectly imperfect.
We want to be perfect, or the closest to just, I guess, just getting better, but in our own bodies. Right. We don't need to look like anyone else.
I agree.
Make your body the best that it can be.
Yes.
That's all you need to do. Awesome. Most people aren't that patient. They want a quick fix and make their body into a filter, but that's not, you know.
Exactly, and we can't, and that's impossible, and that's why I love the message that you put out for women who follow you, because I mean, anybody who sees Diana, I've been there in public, they're like, you work out without a doubt, but I can say as her friend and as her client, her body is extremely well disciplined. She has put in the time. She is all about diet and health and mental health. So
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like to eat out too.
Well, you do, yes, but and I've been there. But you have a great way of balancing it all.
It's all about balance.
Yes,
of course.
So I'm gonna flip something on you, since you're one of the few who I'm bringing on my podcast who really know me well. What would you say is a big motivator for me to get me to take things to the next level? Or what do you think is my biggest weakness and my biggest strength? That's a good question. Oh my gosh.
Your biggest strength is that when you are put on the spotlight, you perform. Like, you go all in. Like, if I'm like, hey, and don't get me wrong, when the cameras are on, that helps a little bit too. Like, when I'm recording for Instagram, I'm like, all right, girl, come on, let's get to work.
My form.
But regardless, and then your biggest weakness is, I'm gonna be honest, because you know I love honesty. When you let yourself go a little bit for too long, then I think you take a few steps back. So you need that structure, right? Yeah. Like, you need that routine. If you're going, like, you're consistent, then you keep going. But
I agree. And
Yeah.
I think that's why you do so great with executives or people who sometimes, like, for example, this week, you knew, like, hey, there's going to be a big chunk of the week where I'm not going to be able to be with my routine, but we're like, let's get it done in the beginning of the week. And we still find a way to put our time in. And I think that's something that maybe in the past we weren't as good at doing. And then you just learning your client, learning me, we've learned to kind of navigate through that. And so again, to all my executives out there or people who are just wanting to try fitness, I would definitely look to Diana as a resource. And I know she's very helpful, whether or not she can train you full time. She's always a resource.
I do online coaching as well.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you don't have to live in Houston, you know, to train with me. Whether you just need, if you know what you're doing and just need a little structure, like you said, like a plan, there's online coaching.
Yes. And what's your favorite app to use when it comes to tracking your diet?
MyFitnessPal. It's perfect, yeah.
That's a
great.
cuss word in my life.
It's great to kind of keep track of
I could see that, of macros and all of that. Yes. So, well, where can people find you?
So on Instagram at Dulce Diana.
Well, thank you so much for joining me in today's podcast. I'm glad we were able to talk about all things fitness, mental health, wellness, and how to just bring out our inner Lachica Poderosa.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Do I have to do it too?
Oh, she's taught me how to flex too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.